Hi, welcome to the first episode of Chai and Charcha. And in this video, we'll be talking about art and who can steal art and who can get away with stealing art. Basically, kill the artist and steal the art. Back in the mid of April, a poet called Amir Aziz posted a post on Instagram accusing Anita Dubey of not only taking his work but also appropriating his work into her art without taking permission from him, right? So this poem was titled Sab Yaad Rakha Jayega, which was written during the CA NRC protests that were happening in 2020. So a lot of hubs of these protests were Jamia Millia Islamia, Aligarh Muslim University, and of course Jamia Nagar. I know of people who were faced with police brutality firsthand, which was meted out by the state, by the government, by those in power, and especially by the administration. So, what happened during December is that a lot of students were beaten up by the police. Guns were fired at the students. I know of somebody who was shot by the police. I also know of people who were beaten in the library. It is the same library that I go to a lot of times, the Zakir Hussain Library at Jamia Millia Islamia. And what is more harrowing about all of this is that students also talk about those के मुंह पे गैस का गोला फूट गया था, because of which a student had to even lose his eyesight. But all of this is of course not talked about. So this poem सब याद रखा जाएगा is in lieu to the police brutality that happened during the CA NRC protest and how everything would be remembered. A very famous snippet of the poem is
याद रखा जाएगा, सब याद रखा जाएगा, सब कुछ याद रखा जाएगा। तुम्हारी लाठियों और गोलियों से जो कत्ल हुए हैं मेरे यार सब, तुम्हारी लाठियों और गोलियों से जो कत्ल हुए हैं मेरे यार सब, उनकी याद में दिलों को बर्बाद रखा जाएगा, सब याद रखा जाएगा, सब कुछ याद रखा जाएगा।
Amir Aziz discovers that a snippet of his poem is being used by Anita Dubey in her work, and she had not only not asked him permission to do it, and when he goes on to confront her, he says that when I confronted her, she made it seem normal, like lifting a living poet's work, branding it into her own, and selling it in elite galleries for lack of rupees were normal. Work was being displayed in Vardha Art Gallery, which is in New Delhi. Everybody likes to talk about resistance. All these poems are coming out of places of resistance, and while people may not resist and people may comply by what is naturally believed, बला टल जाती है तो उन्हीं लोगों के काम को अप्रोप्रिएट कर लिया जाता है मेन स्ट्रीम कल्चर में. It's a poem of resistance which is being used by Anita Dubey without even asking the poet if she could use the work. So when Anita Dubey is confronted, she gives an interview saying that she had taken works of people like Martin Luther King and Hooks before. It was only coming out of a place of love and appreciation, and she did not mean to hurt the poet, right? What is also very interesting to note about this scene is how quickly she decides that a remuneration would be the best account, saying that, oh, let me offer you some money because I stole your poem and I didn't ask you before it. One thing which also Amir talks about is how this is not the first time that she has taken his words without asking her, and she had done the same thing in 2023 for her work on mimicry, mimesis and masquerade. Ironically enough, if you go to the website of Dhera Art Gallery, the Instagram of this page is there's a reel by Anita Dubey where she is talking about Baba Sahib Ambedkar and his work and what he did for the country and how his resistance work. So the idea behind this discussion is talking about how she takes a work and she aestheticizes resistance when it works for her. आपने किसी का काम चुरा लिया और आपने उसको अप्रोप्रिएट कर दिया अपने कल्चर में डालने के लिए. वन थिंग विच इज़ ऑल्सो वेरी सिमिलर दैट आई सी अराउंड मी ऑल द टाइम इज़ द यूज़ ऑफ कश्मीरी फ़िरन, राइट? आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट लोग कश्मीरी फ़िरन नहीं पहन सकते या सिर्फ कश्मीरियों को कश्मीरी फ़िरन पहनना चाहिए, बट द रेजिस्टेंस और द प्रॉब्लम्स और जो कश्मीरियों की कहानी है, जो कश्मीरियों के साथ हो रहा है या किया जा रहा है, उन सबको भूल के आप उनका एक कल्चर का पार्ट जो आपको पसंद आता है आप उसको उठा लेते हो और आप उसको एस्थेटिसाइज कर देते हो. अ सेम थिंग कैन बी सीन विद दी स्कैंडिनेवियन स्कार्फ्स, राइट? सो इट इज़ बेसिकली our South Asian culture where we wear a suit, a dupatta, and that dupatta is now being appropriate as a Scandinavian scarf. People started saying that when we did it, it was a problem, and people made fun of us left, right, and center. But now apparently you're gonna berate us for eating the way that we do or having the kind of practices, whether it's cultural, political, emotional, habitual that we do. You'll be making fun of for behaving that the way that you do, or acting the way that you do, or acting the way that you are culturally supposed to be or taught to be. But then they're gonna take a part of your culture and aestheticize because it suits them. They're gonna forget the rest of it. So the idea is that while a lot of these authors, artists, poets, people from the upper class will never bat an eye when people are being assaulted and stripped, especially when the marginalized community is being beaten up or taken advantage of. But as soon as poetry or some artwork comes out as a form of resistance to the mainstream culture, they try to quickly absorb it, take it and make it theirs and aestheticize it, take the cultural resistance out of it. What is also very interesting about all of this is that it reminds me of the Ghibli trend that happened recently. Miyazaki, who's one of my favorite artists, makes wonderful films, whether it's Kiki's Delivery Services or The Howl's Moving Castle. They have a political understanding to it. They're just not talking about nothing, they're talking about everything which is happening. For example, The Howl's Moving Castle is a critique of the war and how it affects people. More often than not, it is only the regular people who suffer in these wars. But now that trend and that aesthetic are accessed by a lot of people. Now a lot of people might argue कि अरे एक trend नहीं है. Basically what AI and what Chat GTP is doing is that it's making art accessible to everybody. But what the argument says and what I am arguing for is that what they are doing is merely just stealing work of other people and making it easily mass producible. So for somebody who would take years on end, so there's a clip of this video which I would like the audience to watch. एक सीन बनाने के लिए मियाज़ाकी को कितना समय लगा था. However, now you don't need to practice art. You can just simply steal somebody's work. It also very quickly reminds me of a guy called Aaron Swartz. So who Aaron Swartz is a guy who so credited to be one of the co-founders of Reddit, and what he did while he was at MIT was that he downloaded some articles from JSTOR, which is a academic store hub of articles, and he made it available to people. So to retaliate against this, what the government did was he was charged with 2 counts of fire fraud and 11 violation of the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, and he was asked to pay a cumulative maximum of penalty of $1 million in fines and 35 years in prison. Because of this, he committed suicide and his body was found on 11 January. He had to pay the price for wanting knowledge to be openly accessible to people. However, a few years down the line, we would know that Meta is now stealing our data to train its AI into making the work. So what I'm trying to argue for in this video is that art and the work of the artist can be stolen by people when they come from places of power. But जब वो लोग marginalized community से होंगे जहाँ पे उनके पास social, cultural या physical capital नहीं होगा, वहाँ पे उन लोगों को दबा दिया जाएगा. When they try to resist through their poetry or artwork would be taken and it would be aestheticized to appeal to the mainstream audience. And that is the rant for this video. I really hope you liked it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.